Hey, do you have a Polaroid television model TLA-01901C television that quit working? This Polaroid television, it's not a true smart television. It's an older television that does have high definition multimedia interface. You might be able to see that down here on the screen. And you can hook it up to a computer, but it's not technically a smart television. What happens is you turn it on and then it immediately powers off after a few seconds. You can't even go into the menu. It tries to, if you have it set to television and antenna over the air, it tries to tune into a channel and then it powers off. So what I'm going to do is, I never give out advice, I never guarantee anything, I never recommend anything, but I've worked on these televisions for years now, and even the older flat panel televisions. This might be a liquid crystal display, I think it probably is. What I'm going to do is I'm going to disassemble it and I'm going to disconnect all the cables. Now here's a quick tip. What you can do without disassembling is you would just take a power cable like this. You want to disconnect it from the back of the television and the wall outlet, both. Disconnect it from both ends, and then what you would do on the right hand side at the lower right hand corner, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but it's over to the right hand side. I could even move the television and you might be able to see it. Just press and hold the power button for about 30 seconds to a minute. You have to keep holding on to it for approximately 30 seconds to a minute. And then what you would do is you would plug in the cable obviously to the back, and then this is going to plug into a wall outlet and see if that rectifies the situation. There's a concept called ESD, which is an acronym that stands for electric static discharge, and even with televisions, but especially smartphones, well, not smartphones, laptop computers, it affects, my patterns tell me it affects laptops more often than like a standard desktop computer, but it can affect any kind of electronic device actually. And I've actually fixed televisions doing that. However, sometimes I have to take them apart, and that's what I'm going to do in this video. I'm going to disassemble it. I've already disassembled most of it, so really quickly, there are, let's see, there's going to be 2, 4, 8 total screws that I think you might be able to see. And I'll show you where they are located. Now I did put back 2 screws for the LCD, the liquid crystal display, because you actually have to take it off. You have to take it out. This is a smaller television, it's a little bit different. The larger ones, usually you just have to take the back cover off and then you'll get access to all the cables. You're talking about the power cable, the backlight cable, the cable for the color, for the graphics, right? And so they're going to look like this size. You might be able to see them. There's 4 of those, and there's 3 of these on the back that you're going to have to take out. Now you can just use a standard Phillips screwdriver. I've got this one. You might want one that has like this one. These are 2 standard Phillips screwdrivers, and they both worked. All right. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn around really quickly for you, and I'll show you where the screws are at. If the front doesn't come off, which it may come off, but the front cover. Okay, so let me see if I can show you, and let me see and make sure the video is picking this up. Yeah, let me push it back farther where it had it, and then I think the video camera will pick up better. Alright, so these screws here, there are 8 of them, and they're up here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 4 on the top, 4 on the bottom. And then one of them is actually still won't come out, but it doesn't really matter actually. As long as you're able to remove them. right? And then there's these three smaller ones that I showed you. They're more like almost like laptop screws right here. I think you might be able to see them. And you know, I'll show you the screws when I move the camera down. Again, they are located, let's see, in the middle right here. 1, 2, 3. Now there are screw holes here, but that's for a mount. I believe that's for a television mounting kit, and which this didn't come with one, right? So it's these three right here in the middle. Okay, then I'll show you the front really quick. I guess I could have showed you the front where you have to remove the screws, but I'll just turn this around really quickly. Okay, it's off center a little bit. Let me move it to the left a little bit. That should be a little bit better there. And this, oh, let me think, where are they at? Oh, that's, duh, that is for the liquid crystal display. So this comes off now. When you remove those screws, this front cover will come off. And you see it's Polaroid. Whoops, my camera moved a little bit. You see it's high definition multimedia interface. I think you should be able to see that. That's all you have to do, is remove that off. Here's the power button right there. It's at the bottom. It's got channel plus minus, volume plus minus. It's got a menu. TV, video, you click that, and it will let you choose what device you use. Now this television, you would power it on, and it would at first it wouldn't even let you go into the menu. If you click menu, or if you clicked on the input, this is an input button actually. To choose your input, it wouldn't enter the menu or the input menu. Then it would power off within a few seconds. So I'm thinking it might be the backlight, or it could have an electronic static discharge somewhere in the electronics. You know what I'm saying? And so so the other screws, there's 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you have to be careful because, and there are 2, I'm going to show you all the cables you have to disconnect. Now when I initially took this off, there were 2 cables, I believe a power on another board, but then it didn't, you're right, and I was like, well, that can't be all of them. So you're going to be taking the screen out, and you have to be careful because there's one cable that isn't very long. These cables usually are pretty well made, but if you pull too hard, you can break them. So I need to remove 2 more screws because I left them in there because I didn't want this liquid crystal display to fall out. Alright, now I have to be careful because when I loosen this one, it's going to want to fall out because that's the last one. And obviously you want to disconnect power, but I already, you never work on electronics with the power, ever, never. I never give advice and never guarantee nothing, never recommend anything, but you never ever work on electronics with the power connected, obviously. Alright, so this is the LCD. Now, I believe it was these 2. Which one was it? There might have been only one. I'm trying to recall now. It's partly disassembled. It's one of the, I think it's, you know what? I think it's this one. This one was glued on. You can see there's glue. And these are well made, but you still have to be careful because if you pull too hard, you can damage them. This one, look, you see how it's not very long? You see that? So you have to be careful. And this is a tip I give you. Whenever you work on these televisions, even the smart televisions, wow, to me they're not well designed, but it could be the capitalist gone wild, it could be the money, or they're really not designed for an average person, or they might not even be designed for people to service it. Although there is a warning on, I believe here, that says disconnect power before you service it. But sometimes these cables will be short, like this one, and then, but your inclination is to just pull whatever it is that you took apart and pull hard. No. What you want to do is you want to look to see and become aware if there's any cable that is shorter, right? And then disconnect that one, and then it'll make it easier. These other ones here, they're much longer. You see that? So you got a lot of room there, but this one was not. And then you had these two here. These are on the side. These are the two ones that I disconnected originally, and they're on the side of the LCD. Let's see where they're going to be at. Let's see where they're at. Actually, it's on the side of not the LCD directly. Is it the cover? Yeah, here we go. Oh, and you notice how this is old, but it did kind of it didn't break off, but it's loose now. Yeah, these aren't well made. You have to be careful too. But it's not permanent, so I'm not gonna. Right here. So this is gonna be a circuit board for all the buttons, and there's a cable connector here. I think you should be able to see it there. And then there's another. There's a smaller circuit board here, and let's see where the connector is. Oh, here it is. You might be able to see it now. There's a connector here, and then the connector for the other circuit board is right there. They had some glue on it, and when I disconnected, I was like, no way, that's only two. I was bummed out because, well, I was hoping the entire back cover would come off, but this one, no. The front cover comes off, but you have to take out the LCD. All right. So I've got a mess here now. Let me move some stuff around so I get this stuff out of the way. So I've got my cover over here now. A couple screwdrivers, power cable, and let me move this LCD. Oops, my camera moved again a little bit. Okay. Yep. So there we go. Now you can remove it, and it's kind of heavy. And so the LCD has, I believe this is power. I think you should be able to see that right here. It was taped down. Power. And these are going to be color for the color cables. I disconnect them all right here. So I'm going to set this guy aside. There's no scratches. There's nothing wrong with it. And somebody gave me this television, and then now it doesn't work. Okay, now you should be able to see, let's see. I'm going to move the camera down. I need to then go back to the encoder and make sure it looks right. But now I'll be able to show you the screws. And let's see. Let's just flip down. And now you should be able to see the screws now. Let me make sure this is centered a little bit better. Whoops. Yeah, it's not working the way I had hoped. Yeah, there's reflection from light, but here you should be able to see these screws, these 8. Then you got 4. You should be able to see them now. And then you've got, oh, let me see, I mixed them up. Oh, that one goes there. Okay, these 4. And then you're going to have these 3. They're smaller. Alright. So you're going to have 8, 12, 15 total screws that you're going to remove. Now what I've noticed, even with the same model television, sometimes the screw count isn't the same. Get it? The screwy. Yeah, I don't know why that is. I've worked on like laptop computers, and sometimes it's the exact same model that you look up on the internet, and there's screw counts. Oh, I worked on a a Motorola Z smartphone, and I learned how to disassemble it. Here, I'll show you what it is. This is old. It's like 8 years old. Somebody gave it to me. It obviously has a cracked screen, but it still worked. I had to unlock it. It was a pain in the ass, but I did get it unlocked. It was Google locked, which is a pain in the ass. I found an application that actually removed the Google lock, and then I was able to unlock it, and I reset it back to factory, but then it quit working. What I did is I disassembled it myself. I mean, these were I don't know, $500 new back in the day, maybe. I don't know, about 1,000. I mean, they're still pretty good, but they're old now. The problem with this one is the battery kept discharging. Like, I had to keep it plugged into Universal Serial Bus, otherwise it would immediately power off. And so I searched online, and I found a potential battery. So I disassembled it to replace the battery, and then I couldn't find a battery. Not the right one. I have a couple screws, but yeah, see. Anyways, when I went to disassemble this, you have to take the glass off here, and there's 2 screws there, and then you have to take the glass off here, and there's 2 screws there. But I found one video for this exact model, and they said you had to take 6 screws out, and that screwed me up, pun intended. But I figured it out. Alright. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is... Let me move the camera. It's being jankety. Okay. Yeah, it's pretty lightweight without the LCD. Look. Yeah, it's a lot lighter. Okay, I think that's sufficient camera angle there. I would take the bottom off, but I'm not going to. So what you do, they're already disconnected. Now remember, you never work on electronics with power plugged in, obviously. And you want to disconnect from, and you might even want to wait too. Yeah, because you've got capacitors, resistors, and capacitors. And just to be safe, right, so okay, here I'll show you all the cables. Let me work from left to right. Maybe is that good? Left to right might work. Okay, so you got these 2. I remember I told you these. And look at how they're twist tied down. Well, this is actually a ground. I never mess with ground or anything. All I do is disconnect these cables from their sockets. That's all I do. But this has got a ground and kind of is tied down, but it's very little room. Remember, let me remove the LCD. Yeah, that LCD is heavy. It's an older school one. That might be why. I don't think it's a light emitting diode. It's most likely a liquid crystal display, even looking at it. And let me show you again. So this had, I don't know if you can see it, but this had a power, 2 of them, and 2 separate circuit boards. And there was very little cable room, so that made it harder to disconnect. Okay, move that on the side. These are just pads, and the damn camera moved even though I didn't do anything. Yeah. Let's see. Okay, hopefully it doesn't move that much. These are just pads for the LCD right here. Okay, so these 2 you have to remove, but they come off the front cover, so you have to remove those first. And then you've got this cable here. This connects to the LCD. I did show it to you. Now this one you have to push in on the ends here. You push in, I don't know if you can see that, but you take both fingers and push in on the top here, and then it releases it. If you don't do that, you could break it, or it may never come out. Well, it's never going to come out. All right. So I disconnected that one from the liquid crystal display, the panel display. And then I disconnected it from this motherboard, so to speak. This is a board, a circuit board. It's basically kind of like a motherboard. This isn't a smart television, but it does have enough capability. This is going to be a heat sink right here, this black. And it does have a menu, so it does have, right? So you could kind of claim it's a computer. So you have to disconnect it from the motherboard. Now on the motherboard, it does not have the clips where you have to push in. So you just pull out. These are well made, but you still want to, pull. You don't want to use too much force. They may have tools actually. There probably is tools that would help you remove these, but I'm usually once in a while you got one that's a pain in the ass. But okay, so here's another cable here that I had to disconnect. Now, if you notice, this same cable is connected to another board. And then you've got another cable here. So this one was right here. I don't know if you can see that circuit board. It's green next to the yellow and red. Alright. And then these two. Right here. Is that all of them? Oh, a power. This is another. I believe this circuit board here with the large capacitor, the larger capacitor, I think the biggest one this television has. This is the power, and I believe this is probably, let me see if I would run, is that the only cable? It's a power cable. This is the main power board for the television, because if you notice here, this cable is hardwired into the socket, which is on the back side. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, but the socket right there, the active current in, right there, that's the socket. And then the damn camera moved, and then yeah, this damn camera is moving around too much. Let me try to fix something here. It's being a pain in my butt. I'm trying to move something around and make sure it doesn't move. Okay, I think I might have fixed it. Okay, so this is the power board for the television, the main power board. So this, I had to disconnect that, and it's only one because the other side is for the socket and it's hardwired. Any other? I think that's it. So that's all you do is disconnect them and then you reconnect them. So let's just go ahead and reconnect. And okay, I know that one. Some of them can be a pain in the butt. Yep. You know what? I could probably angle the camera down so then I can lay it flat. I might try that instead, otherwise I have to hold this thing. Oh. Okay, let me verify. Yeah, I'm gonna have to move the camera down, but let me verify to see if that's gonna work or not right there. Oh, nope. Let's see. I have to angle it down further. Yeah, I think that'll work. I think. I could also turn around. The camera, the television stand is kind of in the way, but I don't want to take it off. I think this is better here. Yeah. Yeah, I'll just do it upside down, not a big deal. Okay, so I already plugged in the power cable for the main power board. And this one, oh yeah, that one I was working on this one. So let me work on this one right here. I have to push down on it. What I do is I just press in on both sides just to make sure it's tight. Make sure it's not loose. And then this one too here. Yeah, I don't know if you can see it. I have to probably lift it up. There's a bunch of capacitors here all lined up. It's on the main power board. And let's see, you might be able to see it now. There's a socket right there behind the capacitors, right there. And I have to plug that in now. Okay, so we've got 3 out of the way already. Yeah, it's much easier once you take them off, and then you might want to label them too. Yeah, some of the larger smart televisions I worked on, you'll have about 8 total video cables. They're for the actual video. They're red, green, blue. What is it, 6 or 8, whatever. And it can get obnoxious. You should be able to just figure it out, but you could always mark them if you wanted to. Okay, so now we've got these 2 here. Okay. And this is to the liquid crystal display, but the other end connects to the board, this other board. I believe this is probably the backlight board. Yeah, it's the video board is what it is. Oh. Well, they do have a backlight board. Backlight. It may be actually on the actual cover. I'm trying to think. There's this cable, the backlight. This might be also the backlight board. The older liquid crystal displays have a backlight tech. They have it has its own power, and then because you see the video connector. This is the video board right here that I'm working on. That's VGA, video graphics array. That's the old school blue. It's still actually in use. This is a heat sink. Okay. Oh, but the liquid crystal display have backlight, so I have to connect this guy. And I don't know if you can see those pins. I don't know if I can move that up and for you to see the pins. You see those pins? They can bend, so you have to be careful. They're well made, but still. Yeah, when you take them out, you may bend them, or when you try to install. So you have to line them up. Yeah, and this was tied. This is also has a ground. Yeah, you could. You see where they put the ground? They put the ground on the same screw. Over here, there's 2 grounds. You could, I don't know if you can see it. You could remove that screw if these cables get in the way to make it easier for you to disconnect or reconnect. But I usually don't do that. I just need to. Yeah, I wish they did, but that's how they designed this one. Yeah, I don't know if one of the pins is. No, it's just not lined up correctly. Let's see. No, they're still not lined up correctly. I'm not sure why, because this is the only place it'll plug in. Okay, you got all, let's see. There's no terminators either. This goes to the LCD. Now, I might have to pause the video and get this one. I don't know what the problem is. I don't think there's any bent pins, but it's just not lining up. Yeah, this one is directly on this video board, and it's being a pain in my ass. I think I might have gotten it lined up now, but now I'm going to pause the video because this one is a pain in my ass. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, no. See, the problem is that, you know what I'm going to do? I almost never do this, but I don't want to bend any pins. Oh yeah, I'm going to have to pause the video. I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. I think one of the pins got bent on the right hand side, and I don't like to even remove the screws for the grounds. But now you might be able to see it's not all the way down, but yeah, I just pressed in now, and I believe one of the pins on the right hand side may have been bent a little bit, which does occur, but you have to be careful when you pull these out. And let me see. Yep, I think that should be installed correctly. Okay, and yeah, this one has glue on it, and it was glued down to the board, the circuit board, and it has this plastic clip here, right here, and they is that metal? No, that's plastic. Okay. All right, so let's see. There's two more, I think, on this side. So there's a capacitor near them. Yeah, normally it doesn't take me this long, but I try to describe to people what to do. Yeah, normally once you do these a couple times, it doesn't take that long. Sometimes getting the cover off is what takes the longest. But okay, so there's two over here, and let me make sure I get the correct one. Okay. Okay, so I always make sure that I press down on both sides even after the fact, just to make sure they're not loose. Yeah, this one is still a bit loose, but I think it's down, because I don't want to have to, yeah, you don't have to press that hard, but just make sure they're not loose. Okay, they're good to go. Alright, now we've got this guy here. We've got two more. But as far as this video board, that should be all of them. Just make sure they're tight. And then the power board was just one. And then these right here. Okay, so there is actually, I believe, this one back here. Yeah, so you got the power board on the left, the main power board, and then this is a power cable that will power the video board. Nice. That one just fit back in. And this one, they actually had glue or like rubber on them. Yeah, they actually kind of glued them back down a little bit. That's what that black is on them. And then there's a small one right here, I think. Is that empty or no? I believe one of these fits there. Let me recall now. Well, this is the video board. Now let's see, we've got, now I believe these plug into the cover. This might be empty. Yeah, I don't recall disconnecting anything from there. Alright, so now this has to connect to the actual liquid crystal display, and then you've got the two sets of color cables. Let's see. Oh, that's right. So now, the liquid crystal display, there's 4 cables that connect onto the power board right here. And they are color coded. A lot of times they are color coded, blue and pink, but there's 2 sets. And then normally what happens is that this just sits down right here. And there's 4 screws, remember that? But what I'm going to do is I want to make sure I get the right ones. And so what I can do is I can flip it back up and then place it right here. And let me move this a little bit. I gotta get the screw out of the way. Screwdriver. I'll try to move this to the right here. I think that should be pretty good there. Yeah, they go right there, but you notice how there's very little cable length? Yeah, this can be a pain, man. This is a smaller one. The bigger television, the smart televisions, the large one, 30, 40 inches, they're usually not like this bad. How am I going to do this? What could I do here? I know the power is right here. And I wonder if I set it like this. Yep. Okay, and you have to get the right ones too. Yeah, these are easier, but you have to get the right ones, and then they've got clips on them, and that's it. But boy, they didn't leave much room. Okay. Alright. These two. I don't know if they're reverse. They're probably the same order. Yeah, not the world order, but yeah, there is a world order. Okay. I could have done these last. I may actually have to disconnect them and do them over again because, yeah, because I won't be able to get to that other one, will I? Yeah, that's going to be an impossibility. Unless I can flip this on the other side. No, there's just very little cable length. Or I could flip it like that, and then, yeah, this is like gymnastics now. This is getting ridiculous. Whoops. Okay, very little cable length. Oh, how am I going to work this one? Oh, I think I'm going to have to tilt it, and then I'm going to have to slide it in. Yep. You probably can't see this. Maybe you'll be able to see it. Oops. And you got to get it right. I believe it connects like this. Let me look at it first. Okie doke. It should turn around like that. Yeah, because it was... Oh, let's see the logic. It was taped down, actually. I don't think it'd be the opposite direction. No. No. Let's see how I can get that in there. I may have to pause the video again because this is being a pain. Yeah, let me probably pause the video because... Yeah, I'll be back. Okay, I figured out this one, which I think you might be able to see now. I think, right there. Yeah, I had it turned around. Now, I don't know why they put these plastic clips. At first I thought they were metal. They're plastic, I guess just to protect the cable. But the problem is it makes it harder to install. Now, this was taped down, and then they were glued down, the plastic. I thought that there's some cables that have metal. Oh, for, what is it? For interference, I think? No. No. It's just, I guess, to protect it. And I had it flipped the wrong way, and then I should be in there tight. Now remember, this is the one that had clips on both sides, so what you could do to remove it, you press in on them. I don't know if you can see that. I think you can. Press in on them at the same time. Damn video camera. Stop moving. I mean, this is ridiculous. Okay, so you just press in on them at the same time to remove and pull out. You have to be careful. When you install, you shouldn't really have to push in on them, but you could if you're having problems. I'm pretty sure this is in. Damn it! Quit fucking moving, camera. Okay, so it's in there. Yeah, you can even pull on it, but just pull on it very lightly to make sure. Oh yeah, it came loose. Yeah, it's got to be tight, and they should snap in. Because they've got clips. They've got release clips on both sides. Oh. I think that's good for now, but you really want to make sure they're in tight. Okay, then let's see the tape. Yeah, there's very little room, man. I can't, this is just... And stop moving the camera. I mean, Jesus. Oh my god. I mean, this is fucking getting stupid now. Okay, hold on a second. I just averted a disaster here. Let's see. Okay, I gotta fix that. Alright, stop moving. I had this all set up so it wouldn't move much. And it's not working as planned. How about that? How about that now? Is that gonna move? It's tilted the other way now. Let me move this back out. Okay. Okay, so this tape. Yeah, very little cable length, man. Just ridiculous. But that's what it is. Yeah, this was taped down. And I always put things back the way they were. Yeah, you probably don't have to do this, but hey. Plus, it's good cable management because this cable, if it flops around, and you don't want this cable to come loose, obviously. Alright. Yeah, very little room for you to move around. Okay, now these I had to disconnect again. I don't know if you can see them over there. Well, yeah, they're in the back. Let me show them to you. Yeah, now it should be on camera. Yeah, so I ended up taking these out because it was very difficult, so it made it easier to get this video cable. So I just have to install these again. And you have to know what side, so this is going to be the left side, and you just turn the monitor around. And but these last two cables, I gotta move them. Okay. Alright, so, and then I think I should just have to lift up on the left hand side. And then let me see if I can get this on camera for you. Oh, it's making noise. I think I have to move this down now. How about right there? Now let's see if, whoops. Okay, yeah, I think you should be able to see them now. Yep, they're a pain in the butt. I don't know if you can see down there on the board. Remember the power board? Yeah, there's four more total cables, and I believe they have to be in the correct order. I think. Let me see. Let me pause the video because on the board I can see some writing. I'm trying to recall. This is where you would want to mark them. Although when I've done the larger smart televisions, I just reconnect them in whatever order. And at the very least, they have to be in the same order. Let's say there's four total connectors. One on the right, one on the left. If you go pink, blue, then you probably have to go pink, blue. Or if you go blue, pink, left to right, pink, blue, left to right, blue, pink, something like that. Or let's see. Yeah, let me pause the video because there may be some markings on the power board that will tell me if I screw up or whatever. Okay, so they numbered them. It's like says CN or CM maybe for communicate, whatever. They're labeled so there's 4 of them, and they're actually labeled. The inside ones, the interior, are the smallest number. So 1, 2, the exterior is 2. This interior is 3, the exterior is 4. And let's see. I don't think these cables are marked, are they? See if they're marked. I don't really see they're marked. But let me put them logically. I think I'm going to try blue, pink, and then pink, blue. Blue, pink, pink, blue. Because the numbering convention is not 1, 2, 3, 4. And, okay, so I think you might be able to see this. Yep. Am I going to be able to connect them like this? Wow, like they left very little room. This is ridiculous, man. Oh, do I have to pause the video? Let's see. I think I might be able to get them, at least some of them. Without pausing. Yeah, very little. This is absurd, man. Okay, I got the blue, the first blue, and I should get the pink. Yeah, this has been one of the worst ones of all. The larger ones are much more room. The cables are usually longer, but this is no. No, I wouldn't want to work on these every day. Okay, so there's these 2. I'm going to do the same thing. Go pink and then blue. Blue, pink, pink, blue. Is that one upside down? Nope. Okay, those have clips on the top, so you just push them in and make sure they're not loose. Alright. And then so those are down here, and now you've got these 2 cables for the cover. And if you can see them right there, they plug into the cover. So let me put that there. And the power buttons are on the right hand side, looking at from the front. And so it's going to be at the bottom. All right. Now I probably didn't do this the best, but I think I can still run them the way they're supposed to go. Yeah. Alright, so on the left hand side they come out. So, you know, if I was paying attention, I would have known where to put cable exactly. But okay, so then that's the cover for the. Alright, so now I have to move this around and show you where they plug in. Or let me see, let me think. I think if I leave it like that, and then I'm going to flip this up, and so you can see the 2 small circuit boards, the board for the power buttons, and then what is that board? Oh, infrared. Oh, the light, LED. Duh. This has a old school light emitting diode light. Very old school. It just goes red or blue. Okay. And these were, okay, which one? Oh, see, it's the opposite. So I want it like that. And it's on the underside. But I think I'm going to flip it anyways because it'll be easier for me to get to it. I think this is the larger one. Okay, here's a clue, not always. But if you're confused about which way, this had glue, the black, and I think they glued it after they connected them. They put some kind of glue. And so you know, and you see, I don't know if you should be able to see it. There's glue right there that's black. So that's an easy way to line it up. And see if that's going to go in. Let's see if it's going to... I think I got it. I think. Yeah. It's loose a little bit. Let me think. This is 1, 2, 3, 4 pin. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. This is 5 pin, I believe. But for some reason, I think I got it now. I had to press. You don't want to press too hard and pull too hard, because I think that's in there. No, it's loose for some reason. Oh no. What happened? It shouldn't be damaged. Let me pause the video to see if there's bent pin, or there shouldn't be a bent pin. I don't know what happened here. Let me pause the video again. Okay, this one was a pain too. Like I was trying to bend down, but I actually got it plugged in, but it started to move down. And you don't want to bend pins, and there's there's sockets and they've got plastic. Sometimes they're cheap and you end up cracking the plastic. Okay, now one more, and then I am done. This one should be, I bet you see that one. What a pain in the butt. That's for the power button, the power LED. Right here, it's a 4 pin. Same thing here. They glued something onto it after the fact, I think. And you just have to line it up where the two glue would meet. And boom. Yep, this has been one of the worst televisions I've ever worked on. It could be because of the size. It's not very big. 19-inch, 20-inch, whatever. Okay, that one was easy. Okay, so that one I just press down and make sure it's in there correctly. Okay, that should be it. Alright, so you can flip this. Because remember, the power is on the right hand side when looking from the front. So you could just flip it, and then it snaps in, but I have to deal with the cables. And you have to be careful because that one was a pain in the butt to install, to connect again. And I don't want it to come loose, so I have to worry about that one. Okay, well actually it's the other one that is underside. I think that should sit down there. Okay, now. Alright, I just want to test first because of the cable management. Yeah, it didn't really go back the way I like. I'm not sure what's sticking down here. Okay, anyways, now you would screw in 2. I'm just going to screw in 2 for the liquid crystal display. And there's There's 4 total, remember, but just for time constraints, let's see if I can screw these down real quick. Let's put the camera back up. You might be able to see it, you might not. Let's see, that's right, 4. Yeah, what I do when let's say there's 4 screws and I don't screw them all down, I crisscross. I do the opposite, so diagonal. So the top one, and then I'll screw in the bottom one on the opposite side. I just need it to not move like this stupid video camera seems to want to move all the time. Okay, so I can move that, and maybe the camera view, maybe right there. Right here. Yeah, those cables are getting in the way. It's not pushing down, so let's see what I can do. Yeah, I don't know what's up with that. It can only go there because it's connected to the side, so I'm not sure why. Well, when I tighten it, you know, let's see. Is that tight there? No. Yeah, that cable's in the way now, but it's the only place for it to go. It will not go anywhere else. It can't because the way you connect it. Well, I guess when I tighten it, it will be tight. That's what I'll have to do. Okay, now I can stand it up. And I'll plug in the power and power it on and see if it does anything. It may not do anything. I may have fixed it, who knows. Oh. Well, we have a good sign. We've got power, but that doesn't mean anything. Those 4 cables from the, let's see, the video card, the power board to the video card, the video board, you have to have them in the correct order, I believe. But you notice the red? I don't know if you could see the red power light, but I could see it when I just looked at the encoder. Here, I can move this. Yeah, you should see the red power light. It came on, but that doesn't mean anything. Alright, so the power button is on the bottom. The blue light came on. It's got this the backlit. It's got the channel that it's supposed to tune in. But is it going to power? Is it going to try to tune in? Or is it going to power off right away? No signal. Now that is a good sign, but like I said before, originally it would power off right away. It would power on, the red light would turn on, then the blue light, then the channel that's set to default, but it would power off after that. And then I tried the electrostatic discharge test. You disconnect the power cable from the TV from the back and the power outlet, and then you push in on the power button 30 seconds to a minute. That made it last a little bit longer, but then it started to power back off again. But look, it's sitting here at no signal. So what I could do is, well, I don't, because of copyright, what could I do? I think I may have fixed it, but I want to try to prove it to you. But because we censor YouTube, I could get a copyright violation if I show you what's on TV. You know what I'm saying? But look, it's stuck. It's sitting at. Oh, did you see it powered off? Yeah, I just powered off now. Now it did sit there at no signal. That's a lot further than before. I'm going to try to power it on again. It's not doing anything. Yeah, the red light isn't turned on. I think the TV is probably, oh, what board would it be? It powers on, and this is a lot farther. Like I actually sat here talking for a couple minutes, or I don't know, was it 30 seconds or a minute, and then it powered off. Before, it would power off within, what, 20 seconds? Yeah, this is just an old TV that somebody gave to me, but it worked for, how long have I had this thing? You can hook it up to a computer. Yeah, it's kind of filthy. I had to clean it up, and it's still filthy. Yeah, and then somebody took the front cover. You see where the two speakers are? They took that off. I don't know why they took the cover off, because you don't, well, look where the speakers are at. You could damage them. Well, duh, that's why they have a cover. But they didn't put the cover back, so I'm thinking maybe somebody took this television apart before I did. Let me think what it could be. The backlight works because it says no signal, and if you notice, the backlight works. You can see light in the back. This is a liquid crystal display that does have a backlight. The light emitting diodes, they don't have backlights. Every pixel has its own light source or something, whatever it is. Oh, now it won't power on. I have to disconnect it from the power outlet, and then a lot of times it will, or I could do this. Okay, I think you can see let me turn off this light. Yeah, I could turn off all lights, but right down here, the red power light is on again. You might be able to see that. Yeah, something like that. But it's going to do the same thing. It may power off pretty quickly. The blue light turned on, and the display shows up. That's the backlight works. You see down here, the top and the bottom, you see that light source there? That's the backlight. And it works. And you got the channel, and then the channel disappears. Now it says no signal. Now it may have a timer where the TV, even though this is older, it may have a timer where it automatically power off if the signal doesn't come in, or if it's not connected to a computer, or the computer's hibernation, whatever. So this is better. I mean, this wouldn't, before it would just power on. Yeah, it just powered off again. But at least I'm getting somewhere. I'm trying to think there's only two boards. There's the power board, and there is the video graphics board. It's getting video, and I think I connected the blue and the pink cables. I think I connected them correctly, because it's power. Those are power cables, but I believe you have to have them in the correct order. I believe if there's 4 of them, it has to be like pink, blue, pink, blue. But I noticed on them, the motherboard or the video board, it was 1, 2, no, it was 2, 1, 3, 4. So the smaller number, 1 was on the inside on the left side, and then 3 was on the inside on the right side. So it was 2, 1, 3, 4, right? So that's how I figured, well, it would be either, pink, blue, blue, pink, or blue, pink, pink, blue. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I should have probably marked them, but I'm trying to recall now if that makes a difference. It may or may not. But it works. I mean, it works like normal until it tries to get a signal. And it powers off, and then now, look what's going to happen. Nothing. There's no power. Oh, I don't know if that's some kind of electrostatic discharge or there's a capacitor issue with one of the capacitors on maybe the power board. Yeah, there's only basically 2 boards. You could get a multimeter, and this thing isn't going to be worth anything. Like if I sold it when I got it when it worked, who's going to get what? I doubt I'd get $20 on Craigslist. I mean, maybe, but I doubt it. Now, because you could probably get larger, newer smart televisions that are older, but you know what I'm saying, for 20, 40, 100, whatever. I don't even know if anybody would want this thing. Maybe $5, $10, right? But you can learn this way. You could get a multimeter and see maybe there's a blown capacitor somewhere. You want to check all the circuits on both boards and see if and make sure they're getting the correct voltage. Because what I could do is I will do it now. I will connect the antenna to it. This is a homemade antenna that I'm going to connect to it. So let me see what I could do to get it to work. Let me pause the video one more time if you're still watching. And I'm actually going to install well, you know what, if I do that, then I could get a copyright violation for showing you what's on the TV. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to disconnect the power cable, connect it again. It should power on, and I'm going to immediately click the input button, the very top right button, and see how long it sits there, and see if it powers off. Yep, so the red button turned on again. Well, it flashed blue really quick and then it flashed red. Red means it's got power, but it's not turned on. I'm going to turn on. You got the blue light there. You got the backlight works. And I'm going to click the menu. Yeah, I did this earlier. The input and the menu button doesn't work. What? Oh, there it goes. Okay. Yeah, before it wouldn't work, and then it would power off before it would work. Let's see how long it sits there. Yeah, you notice you can select television, audio, video, S-video, which is very old school, YB, YPB, PR, high definition multimedia interface, and personal computer. And YPB, PR, I've never used those before. Yeah, you see how it powered off? It could be the power board. I don't know. I don't think it would be the video board, because if it was the video board, I believe the video board, it's got one circuit for the buttons, all the buttons on the right hand side. It's got one circuit board for the light emitting diode, the really tiny circuit board, and then there's 2 computer boards, a power board and it's actually a video graphics card board. That, if it was a video graphics card board, I would think it would act weird. The colors wouldn't be correct. You might see artifacts. I think it's probably, I could be wrong, but I think it's probably the power board. Or it could be a capacitor on the power board. Capacitors kind of look like tubes. They look like soda pop cans. You remember Earlier in this video I showed you the larger one, the largest one. They look like little cans. Those are capacitors. And if they fail, but what you do is you take a multimeter and you check for voltage on all the circuits and now usually you'd have to get the schematics because not every circuit's going to have the same voltage. So I don't know, I doubt if I could even, but if you're, I don't have that expertise, but some people may be able to figure it out on their own. Yeah, because they have knowledge. Okay, this size capacitor is going to have this much volt, blah, blah, blah. It's probably the power board, and this thing isn't worth the money for me. I probably couldn't even find a power board. So that is this video, the Polaroid television TLA-01901C. I did get it to actually stay on longer, but it's the same symptom. It will not tune in a channel, or if you leave it at one of the menus, the input or the main menu, it eventually powers off. Then you have to disconnect the power cable, plug it back in, and then it just repeats itself. Adios!